Individuals go through many stages of life, each with their own set of difficulties. Due to societal pressures, some individuals are involuntarily influenced to do things which affect their life negatively. The biography As Nature Made Him by John Colapinto revolves around the life of David Reimer, who has been circumcised at birth, and goes on to tell the journey of him discovering his true identity. Born Bruce Reimer, David got circumcised at the age of 7 months due to having trouble urinating, but due to an accident, his circumcision was unsuccessful and his genitals were burned. When David's parents, Ron and Janet, consulted to Dr. John Money, who at that time was a very famous sex change doctor, he recommended that they should have a sex change operation done to help him urinate and to not also be embarrassed about his parts in the future. The surgery was conducted and Bruce was now Brenda Reimer. To start off, David's overall character has developed in many ways which reflect the overall purpose through his behavior, actions, and discovery. To illustrate, even though Brenda grew up in an environment where she was constantly influenced to be and act ladylike, Brenda's interests were strongly masculine. She has marvelous plans for building tree houses, go-karts with CB radios, model gas airplanes. Her choices in games, objects, toys, and behavior all demonstrated her to have a very rough, aggressive, and competitive character. Physically, she was a female, but her behavior and choices contradicted her appearance in all ways. Additionally, growing up, David's character developed to be one of more courage. After constantly being pressurized, David got so sick to death of doing what everyone wanted him to do. He got to that point in his life, he knew he was an oddball. He was willing to live his life as an oddball. If he wanted to wear his hair in a mess, that's how he wore it. He wore his clothes the way he wanted to. David realized that no matter how much efforts he put in to act ladylike and not get the surgery, which would be the last step in becoming a girl fully, he will end up having it, so he decided to rebel. He stopped listening to everyone and became independent. David started making his own decisions and living life as he pleased. His character developed from submissive to more of a dominant one. This proves how when David made the decisions for himself, he believed that they were the right ones, and that helped him to become happy and proud of who he was as a person. David's courage in one of the toughest phases of his life is displayed through a song written by Katy Perry named Roar.
You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I got the eye of the tiger, the fighter, dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
Katy Perry displays how a person should never give up and always stand up for themselves and have courage. The same bravery is shown in David as he never let people influence him to make the wrong decisions for himself and always spoke up for himself. Moving on, the overall purpose of this biography is shown through the different conflicts that David fought through in his life. One of the main conflicts in this biography was of man versus society, as David was not socially accepted due to his behavior not matching his physical sex. Due to Brenda having a boyish behavior, when she started school, she was often the odd one out. Even the teacher didn't accept her. This displays a man versus society conflict where due to her unknown sex change, she was not socially accepted by her peers or even teachers. She was considered the odd one out, and that led to her facing a lot of psychological agony. This also led her to questioning her own behavior and sexuality several times. It was one of the main causes of her distress. Additionally, another main conflict in David's life was man versus self. David grew up in an environment where people constantly judged him for his actions and behaviors, making him very self-conscious about himself, and also caused him to have an internal battle with himself about his true gender and identity. Brenda was constantly told by family and doctors that she was a girl, but she still felt like there was something wrong. You know generally what a girl is like and what a guy is like, and everyone is telling you that you're a girl, but you say to yourself, I don't feel like a girl. It didn't match. Well, there isn't something wrong here. This displays a man versus self conflict as Brenda is having an internal battle with herself and her psychological sex. She's constantly clashing her knowledge about feminine behavior and her personality, which is more masculine. She feels that she does not belong as either one of them, and as she has traits from both genders, physically and mentally. Her self-consciousness and her insecurities can be displayed through Christina Aguilera's song, Beautiful. Christina displays through the lyrics of the song the insecurities she has about herself and how upset that makes her. This can also be related with David, as he felt the same way when he was Brenda. He felt like he was constantly being watched and judged, which made him very self-conscious and apprehensive. The author, Colapinto, uses a variety of techniques to help portray the overall purpose of this biography. Colapinto does this in many ways, such as his use of imagery to display an image of how Brenda was seen by others. Her personality contradicting her appearance was always difficult to face for Brenda. If anyone were to describe her, then it would be quite fine-featured, with curly hair, and was a very pretty child with big brown eyes. It was her manner more than anything else that got in the way. She was always grubby. She's always been fighting with the kids and playing in dirt. This text uses imagery to make readers form an image of a girl physically seen as a girl, but with behavioral characteristics that can depict her as a male. Her physical characteristics being different than her behavioral characteristics was also the reasons for constant questioning stares and thoughts of others. Furthermore, a simile is used to help describe how David felt while having to constantly pretend to be someone he was not. Having to constantly act ladylike, Brenda felt like she was a robot. This is an example of a simile, as Brenda's behavior is being compared to the behavior of a robot using the word like. Brenda believed that the best way to avoid surgery was to act like a lady, and that is what she started to do, but it was mechanical behavior. It was a forced behavior, hence robot-like. A song that uses similar techniques to describe how David felt is Skyscraper by Demi Lovato.
Do you have to make me feel like there's nothing left of me? You can take everything I have, you can break everything I am, like I'm made of glass, like I'm made of paper.
This song also uses the use of simile to help describe how the individual felt like they were made of glass, paper, when they had nothing left of them. This can also be related to David, as having to act ladylike makes him feel like there is nothing left of him, and he is empty. This displays how a person cannot be nurtured to become someone who they are not in the first place. The overall purpose of this biography has been constantly displayed through various use of form, conflicts, and the characters. For instance, even though Brenda did everything that was told to be done by her, Brenda still wasn't a girl. Many efforts were put in by Ron, Janet, and Dr. Money to make Brenda behave and feel like a girl, but they all went in vain, as Brenda did not act or even believe that she was a girl. She felt like a man trapped in a woman's body. All the guidance that was given to her just had no effect on her and her thoughts, no matter how hard Brenda or her family tried. She just did not feel that being a girl was her true identity, and at the end, she ended up being who she really was, a male. This proves to show that the only way you can get to know your true self is if you make your decisions for yourself and not let anyone influence you. Also, after David started making his own decisions regarding his gender and true identity, he was happier. When getting to make his own decisions for the first time, his family and peers all saw that he was much happier and social. He communicated more often, and all his confusion had been cleared. All David wanted was to clear his confusion and be able to obtain his true identity, and when he was given the opportunity to do this, all his griefs and problems disappeared, and he was given a chance for a new start in life as someone different. This proves that people are much happier when they are able to make their decisions for themselves rather than others choosing for them. The overall purpose of making your decisions for yourself is displayed through Rennie Lane's song, Choices. Lane displays that to be your true self, you need to make your choices by yourself. This is also shown through David, as when he started making his own decisions for himself and without the influence of others, he was happier. The author, John Colapinto, uses many different references of character, conflict, and form to display an overall purpose of finding your true self by making your own decisions in life. An individual should be allowed to make their own decisions in life, and no one should be able to influence them to do any better, as life should be lived with your true self, not the ones others make for you.